Okay, Summer, so we're here to talk about the crash that you guys had encountered. Can you tell me, in a sequence of events, how that happened and your feelings rushing through this event?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were on the way. I had a doctor's appointment right off of research. And we're all sitting in the car, and I'm in the back seat. My sister and her boyfriend are in the front, and we start to hear this really loud screeching noise. And I had not realized that my sister was like checking her rear view. And we were all kind of like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? And I turned around just in time to like see the impact. So like when you take a picture with flash and you like blink because the flash was so bright, like that's what it felt like. It's like he turned around and then boom, he's hitting the car. He starts to back up, and we're like obviously getting out of the car because our car's wrecked. And he starts to back up, and then once he sees us getting out of the car, he stops and he gets out, and we were like, "Are you okay?" And another woman, the one that was next to us when we stopped, is because it's 5 lanes across and we're in one of the left turn lanes. She had also stopped. She didn't realize like her car hadn't been hit. She was trying to make sure everybody was okay. We asked him if he was okay. He said yes. Asked us if we were okay. We said yes. People were honking. People were driving past. They didn't really care. Even the people that had just seen what happened, like they just wanted to get around us, even to the point where they were like almost running us over. And so we all kind of like in agreement, we're like, let's pull into this empty parking lot. We can exchange information. We can make a police report and go from there. He drives a Jeep, so like his vehicle was, I mean, they're really sturdy. His vehicle was hardly hurt, while our vehicle was totaled. So we're scraping into this parking lot, and I'm standing in 3 lanes of traffic, making sure people don't go so we can get across. And um, we pull into the parking lot, and the other lady pulls into the parking lot. And a few minutes later, I realized like I don't see this Jeep anywhere. So I looked at my sister and I was like, he did not follow us, did he? And she was like, no. And it was at that point, like, the adrenaline's hitting. I'm crying. My sister's trying to console me because I was at the point of impact. So I got hit the hardest, and the cops are getting there, and the fire truck is getting there, and they had to go at her back end with like the jaws of life twice to get it unstuck to where she could take it back home, even though like we knew in the end of it all like the vehicle would be a total loss. um, we had started to take pictures of his vehicles and of his vehicle, and that was like right when he started to drive off, so we unfortunately weren't able to get his license plate in any of the photos. We have one very clear photo of his Jeep, but you can't see his license plate. It's blocked by the back end of her car, unfortunately. But all in all, I mean, the main goal is to find the person who did this because, insurance only covers so much, especially our own. Her vehicle is totaled and it was not paid off. So we want to find him, both because, morally, like a hit and run, I personally could never be like, oh, I just totaled somebody's car, let me drive off. So that's why we weren't thinking in that moment that he was not following us into the parking lot. So we're feeling pretty crushed, but still trying to remain hopeful that he will be located. I've called, like it's right next to a Chili's and a tattoo parlor and all of these different businesses, called them all. And they were like, unfortunately, like this is not the first time that we've, experienced a call like this. And there's no cameras in the strip center. They were like, you could try the bowling alley across the street. I've called them with no luck on speaking to a manager. I just keep getting put on hold. I did speak with a detective today who is actively trying to locate the suspect, but it is an open investigation. Um, and we were hoping that maybe somebody that did see it happen would say something. I've posted about it on Facebook. I know the detective plans on posting the vehicle on Facebook and such. Um, I think best case scenario would be the guy coming forward himself, but I don't anticipate that happening.
Do you have any hope for APD to have any progress in this investigation? Maybe possibly looking into those decals, looking into the car itself, maybe people that were also involved locally that could have been around you, maybe even that the other party, if I'm correct, you mentioned that there was someone else who pulled in around you. Is that right?
Yes. So that woman, she did give a statement as to what she witnessed. What her exact statement is, I don't know. But I know that on scene, we spoke about, pulling traffic cameras and, talking to the businesses, which I've talked to the businesses personally. I don't think anything will come of that, but hopefully they're able to, get access to the traffic cameras because that's going to be, this the simplest way to find that license plate because he made a right turn, made a U-turn, went back through that intersection. So he went through it twice. Um, but yeah, I do have hopes that APD will continue to look into it, but I also know that Austin is such a big city. You know how many car accidents there are every day, how many of those are hit and runs. Um, but I know also on our end that we're going to continue to keep trying to find the person, um, because at the end of the day, um, it's a lot to handle, um, both on our end, but also for APD. We're one of many people that experience things like this. And I know that they're doing all that they can for us right now.
And you mentioned you talked to local businesses trying to see if you could find uh, either camera video or see if they had seen anything themselves. Um, if more businesses were to use video cameras, possibly facing towards the road, to help for investigations like this, do you think that's something that more businesses should employ as they set up their security systems?
Yes, I mean, honestly, I myself, like, I was shocked that they don't have any sort of, parking lot or even rooftop like CCTVs that record that, especially, with the crime rate that is in Austin. Like, I was shocked to find out there were no cameras. So my hopes are high for that, and I do hope that, it gets to a point where it's like better safe than sorry. And you would think that they would have put up cameras, but it just hasn't happened yet. But I hope that they do, because in situations like such, I know that it would be helpful.
Exactly. And if you were able to talk to the suspect or send a message to him, what would you want to say? What would you want to tell him? Are you pressing charges? Are you wanting to claim that he had injured you in the way you said? What would you want to say to him?
If I could say anything to him, it would be that you did injure me in the crash. It would have been a lot easier if you would have just pulled into that parking lot, and you've made it a lot difficult for yourself. But I do plan on locating you, and at that point, if charges will be pressed, that'll be a decision made then. Um, I hope that, you find it within yourself to turn yourself in, because I and the police will continue to look for you until you are found.
Now, is there anything else you would want to say or any updates from the police that have happened recently?
I don't have any updates to share. Like I said, it's an open investigation, so I know there's only so much that I can share. Um, Personally, updates, I'll continue to post on social media. Um, like I said, best case scenario, he comes forward himself. Worst case scenario, he continues to make it more difficult for himself. Um, I know what he looks like. I can pick him out in a lineup, and I hope that he doesn't continue to make it have to get to that point.